Hello, Ado Church of God. We're going to go right back into the scripture. John Maxwell, if you're a man and you like to read the Bible, this is called the John Maxwell Leadership Bible. This came out years ago, and I absolutely love it. This is a King James version, and John Maxwell is a great leader who talks about, he has what he calls the law of, and here he calls this the law of reproduction. Giant killers that grew under David's leadership. The scripture comes from 1 Chronicles 24:8 that we looked at yesterday. And so I want to go over this just a little bit, and I want to give you three takeaways. I may not get to all of them today, but I want to give you three. You might call it deja vu all over again. It says here, 1 Chronicles 20 describes David's army battling and beating the Philistine giants. You can't help but recall 1 Samuel 17 when the young David killed Goliath, when the young David ran towards Goliath, when the young David said to Saul, I can't take your sword, I can't take your shield, I can't take your armor because they're untested. But what I know is the way that I fight has been proven, because when the bear came, I killed the bear. When the lion came, I killed the lion. So I've got to trust in the way that has been tested for me to fight. David kills the giant. His servants were watching. His brothers were watching. So when you get to First Chronicles, we see that there's more giants that are being slayed, but not really by the hand of David, but by the hand of his servants. By the hand, your children are watching you right now. Your children see when you go through problems and when you go through issues. They're watching dad and seeing how dad handles certain things. They're watching how dad deals with money. They're watching how dad deals with the school. They're watching how mom deals with people when things go wrong. And those are some giants in our life. When things go bad, wrong, and the way we deal with them, it might be the same way our kids deal with them. So how are you dealing with things? Do you deal with it with integrity? Do you deal with it in prayer? Do you deal with it on your knees? Do you try to fight battles that God's willing to fight for you? How do you face the giants in your life? How do you overcome the giants in your life? Well, here, John Maxwell said that there's a law here that he says it's called a reproduction of giant killers growing under David's leadership. He says, so he gives 3 points. The first point, he said, it takes one to know one. If you're a giant killer, then it takes one to know one. How does it take one to know one? You know that you're a giant killer if you've watched someone else overcome the giants. If you've watched someone else kill giants, and you don't have to do it their way, but you may have to use the strategy. You may have to use the same resources that they use. You may do it in your own creative way. You may do it in your own fantastic way. That you may do it more spontaneously. You may do it more powerfully. You may do it more quietly. But the number one thing we need to do is we need to learn to overcome giants. David put this into place here, and John Maxwell brings it out. He said it takes one to know one. He said it takes one to know one. We tend to see what we possess in ourselves. So David was a giant killer because it was in there. And other people become giant killers because what he brought out of himself, what they saw come out of him, they said, you know what? Maybe I can do what he did. You know what? Maybe I have the same power in me. What is that power? That power is Jesus Christ. What is that ability? It's the Spirit of the living God that can stir up those weaknesses in us. Sometimes when giants come into your life, you may not never face a Goliath, but you may face a bill you can't pay. And if you're not careful, you'll say, well, I'm not going to be able to pay this. I'm going to lose the car. No, you're not going to lose the car, because if God gave you the car, God can give you the money to pay for the car. But what you've got to do is you've got to have faith, and you've got to trust, and you've got to put your faith in God, and God will help you kill that small giant in your life. God bless you.